called Apprentice in Wonderland. It details how the Mad Red Hatter behaved behind the scenes on his reality show. There's a new Trump tell-all out today from the co-editor-in-chief of Variety. If you pitched him a reality show where he picks his running mate, Apprentice style, for the right amount of money, he would 100% do it.
Regarding Trump's debate preparation, Jimmy Kimmel recently revealed shocking information. It seems that the former president uses drugs as his secret weapon rather than experience or policy acumen. Yes, you did indeed hear that. Kimmel asserts that before taking on his rivals, Trump is receiving some pharmaceutical assistance. What is he taking, though? Adderall, cocaine, or simply a large quantity of Diet Coke? What is the recipe that Kimmel says Trump is preparing ahead of debates? It seems there's more to it than simply hair gel and orange spray tan. Kimmel is making some very outrageous claims on Trump's pre-debate ritual, and I can assure you that they are not suitable for your grandmother.
It was 92 degrees in Boston today. It's very hot for the middle of June. Around 150 million Americans are expected to experience temperatures above 90 degrees this week, thanks to what they call a heat dome. It'll be so hot in Maine this week, the lobsters will be getting in pots just to cool down. It's so hot in New York this week, the rats are wearing crop tops. So hot in South Dakota, Kristi Noem's dogs are shooting themselves.
Kimmel isn't holding back. Adderall and Cialis are the two very particular medications he is criticizing. I understand what you're thinking, though. Isn't it an odd combination? Welcome to the Trump Show, everyone, where nothing seems too strange to be true. Shall we take it apart, please? Your cousin uses Adderall to do exceptionally well on his examinations. It is meant to support energy, focus, and attentiveness. All those things for which Trump isn't exactly well known. What about Cialis? That's, well, let's just say not good for his head. Imagine now that Trump takes these drugs right before a debate. He would have an odd smile akin to that of the Energizer Bunny. Aware, concentrated, and prepared to pay attention. Is this the reason he slants forward at that podium every time? Mind-boggling. The worst part is that there have been rumors regarding Trump's purported propensity of popping pills before. For years, some of the people who worked on The Apprentice have been complaining about Trump's addiction to Adderall. It makes you wonder whether "where's my stash" was really code for "you're fired." So why are we debating these specific drugs? Well, Adderall might give Trump the advantage in theory.
He had an online tirade attacking ChatGPT, and instead he went on a tirade attacking something he made up called ChatGTP.
We asked the latest version of ChatGTP for a list of people that died at the age of 62. What's going on here? Now, mind you guys, Apple, rather than create their own AI, they want to integrate ChatGTP throughout all of their new phones.
When did he start talking like this? When did that? He sounds like 5 angry Muppets at once.
It could work a miracle and help him stay focused for more than 5 seconds. Regarding the Cialis, perhaps he believes it will enable him to withstand challenging inquiries. Or perhaps he is just organizing a crazy after-party. With this guy, who knows? But for a moment, let's be honest, it's not just about winning a discussion if Trump is genuinely abusing these substances. It concerns his suitability for public office. All of us have witnessed him babble and rant, but is it just Trump being Trump? Or is there another factor at play? Kimmel is essentially arguing that Trump needs some pharmaceutical support in order to function. It's like saying the class clown is funny only because he needs laugh gas. But the class clown wants to be the president of our country. Once more, before you begin to see Trump as some sort of pharmaceutical Frankenstein, keep in mind that these are merely Kimmel's assertions. As yet, we have no concrete proof. It's possible that Trump's pre-debate ritual consists solely of eating 2 Big Macs and venting on Twitter. However, the problem with such rumors is that they tend to stick. Every sniff, every twitch, every strange hand gesture, and let's be honest, there are a lot of them.
A good chunk of the book is focused on the pandemic and Fauci's relationship with Trump. The chapter is called He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not. The other Trump-heavy book release of the day is a new memoir from Dr. Fauci, which is already #1 on Amazon's list of books about communicable disease. At one point, he screamed at Dr. Fauci. He told him he cost the U.S. economy $1 trillion effing dollars, and then immediately offered him a job running one of his companies.
Causes people to question, is this the Adderall talking? Trump, too? You can be sure he won't take this lightly. With those tiny fingers of his, he's undoubtedly typing furiously, ready to retaliate against Kimmel. Perhaps he will argue that since he is already, really smart, he doesn't need medicines. Alternatively, he may simply label Kimmel a loser and move on. In any case, the Trump scandal machine is fueled by these drug accusations in a big way. People are discussing it, guessing about it, and most likely creating some really bizarre memes. Can you even begin to imagine the possibilities with Photoshop? Now that Kimmel has revealed this shocking information regarding Trump's purported pill-popping behavior, let's stand back and pose the million-dollar query. Where's the beef? I mean, is Kimmel just tossing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks? Or does he actually have any proof to support these outrageous claims? Now, you might want to hold your horses if you're expecting Kimmel to pull out a lab report or a hidden camera film showing Trump downing tablets like they're Tic Tacs. As it happens, the evidence presented by Kimmel is as reliable as a chocolate teapot in a sauna. Shall we take it apart, please? In essence, Kimmel's major revelation was his declaring, "Let's check the president's caffeine level. Let's give Trump a Cialis and Adderall test. Let us await the results of the exams." And that's it. The smoking gun is that. Comparable like calling your neighbor an alien for placing their trash outside on the incorrect day. The issue is, Kimmel isn't really aiming for a Pulitzer Prize in this situation.
Let's test the president for caffeine. Let's test Trump for Adderall and Cialis. Let's see how the tests come out. I'm buying this idea that there's some magic debate pill you can take that makes you... If there is, I would like one because it sounds great. It's all nuts. It's just all nuttiness. And CNN says they'll use all tools at their disposal to enforce timing and ensure a civilized discussion.
He's not an investigative journalist. He's a comedian. His role is not to expose Watergate 2.0. Rather, it is to make people laugh, and he sure knows how to start a conversation. The entire Trump on drugs controversy, that's very Kimmel. He's known for launching these political curveballs that resemble jokes mixed with what if. He uses headlines like if he were a darts player, and every now and again he strikes the target. Recall that this is the same individual who has been prodding Trump for many years. He's turned political news into late-night comedy for a living. To be honest, dealing with Trump is like to shooting fish in a barrel. This is the tough part, though. Kimmel isn't just any old guy shouting conspiracy theories at the bar. He has a platform, and people pay attention to what he has to say. Hence, even if he frames his charges against the president as a joke, there is some truth to them when they are made. There's a grain of truth in every joke, as the adage goes. With this exception, the grain may resemble a tiny bit of dust. However, that doesn't stop others from utilizing it. And that's where Kimmel's strategy shines. He doesn't require concrete proof. All he has to do is sow the doubt. People begin to view every Trump sniff, every rambling speech, and every strange tweet in a very different light once that notion is out there. Is it just? Perhaps not. Does it work? It is. I promise, your precious Bippy. However, let's not delude ourselves. We're not exactly discussing Woodward and Bernstein here. People devour it because sometimes the only thing that can keep us from sobbing in the crazy world of American politics is a good laugh.
This is an excerpt from the audio book that gives you some, I think, fun insight into Fauci's relationship with our former president.
One morning, I come into my office, and there are about 30 messages saying, "Get to the White House." So I go over, and the president's excitable, talking a mile a minute. He's showing me printed out photos. I couldn't make him out.
Kimmel may not have a smoking gun, but he does have something even more potent in today's society. A quip that causes people to pause and think. At times, all you require in the court of public opinion is that Kimmel's expose not only caused agitation among Trump's supporters, but it also ignited the media establishment. Before you could say fake news, Trump's rumored pill-popping habits were the talk of the town from sea to shining sea. It resembled someone tossing a match into a gasoline puddle. Media conflagration that happens instantly. Media outlets were lining up to cover the news, each putting their own unique spin on it. You would think Kimmel had made a joke about Trump's medicine cabinet rather than found evidence of extraterrestrial life on Mars. You would think Fox News would jump to Trump's defense, though. False. They made the traditional "look over there" gesture. Rather than responding to Kimmel's sharp remarks against Trump, they chose to criticize good old Joe Biden. With all due respect, Sean Hannity said on Live that Joe Biden will be all hyped up, and that the Joe Biden that we're talking about tonight, I don't think will be the Joe Biden we're going to see on debate night. Good deflection. Really fluid. Other news organizations, meanwhile, were having a field day. Some people regarded Kimmel's roast as the century's biggest comedic moment. Others put on serious expressions and began yapping about fairness and discussion rules. A laser pointer was being chased by a group of cats, and while everyone was going in different directions, nobody seemed to be making any progress. The really exciting part is that the plot began to take shape as the days passed.
After spending the past 2 nights peddling a very misleading clip that claims to show Biden freezing up.
I think the Joe Biden we see on debate night is going to be the guy that we saw at the State of the Union.
The first debate between Trump and President Biden is scheduled to happen a week from Thursday on CNN, and the gang at Fox News is hard at work coming up with an excuse.
The Joe Biden that we're talking about tonight, I don't think will be the Joe Biden we're going to see on debate night.
It was similar to seeing one of those time-lapse videos when a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly. However, in this instance, the caterpillar was not quite as strange and clumsy as the butterfly. It was all about Kimmel's charges at first, then it turned to strategies for debating. Before you knew it, the topic had shifted to whether or not candidates should be permitted to carry notes and how to muffle microphones. Trump might be on drugs somehow became, should we allow bathroom breaks during the debate? It was like the most boring game of telephone ever played. Kimmel is presumably enjoying a cocktail and chuckling to himself while watching all of this. After tossing a pebble into the pond, he is now observing the ripples as they grow. The problem with political comedy these days is that jokes may occasionally turn into news stories, making it difficult to distinguish between the punchline and the headlines. It began as a late-night comedian making fun of a past president, but it quickly grew into a massive media circus. It resembles the news adaptation of that game where you start with a word and get a whole new word at the end. Kimmel brought up Trump and drugs, and somehow that led to a discussion about the subtleties of podium manners.
Rudy Giuliani is still alive. He's somewhat conscious and defending his friend Donald Trump against the idea that he's losing it mentally.
They say, Trump is becoming old and senile, and now Trump doesn't want to imitate him anymore. I don't care. You could say I'm old and senile, because I'm not. I am old, but I'm not senile.
In denial about being senile. Rudy's not senile. He's perfectly fine.
Flag Day today. Welcome to America's Mayor Live. Love the free and the brave.
It appears that Trump's Twitter fingers may not be his biggest concern right now. This quick jab at midnight from Kimmel. Trump's campaign is positioned directly in the center of what is rapidly becoming a political cyclone. Trump's team is scurrying around like cats in a bathtub when it comes to putting out flames, even though you'd think by now they'd be pros at it. They haven't exactly responded forcefully to Kimmel's quips. They resemble players attempting to avoid burns in a political hot potato game. The problem is, even negative news may be positive in Trump's universe, right? The man might, after all, trip over his own toe and use it as a political platform. So would the drug accusation be detrimental to him or beneficial? For Team Trump, it's not exactly the best time. Already they have to deal with more legal drama than a soap opera during the day. This cloud in the shape of Kimmel is now hovering over them. It would be like to attempting a marathon while your shoelaces are knotted, not to mention the wider picture at this point.
You can see here he is signing a truck that was parked in his lot. He put his signature right on the door there. He's a tagger, too, on top of everything else.
This entire accusation of drug use? It's merely election 2024, another strange episode in the never-ending tale. Trump is reportedly tripping on Adderall, in addition to Biden falling over his own words and occasionally his own feet, like a competition to see who can garner the most negative press for the greatest amount of time. This is where things become really fascinating, though. Kimmel's brief comedic segment, it's no longer just a jest. It now forms a part of the political story. In fact, questions are being asked. Is this just Trump being Trump, or is there something else going on? Is the question on their minds as they see Trump's actions? It is as though Kimmel unlocked a Pandora's box, and everyone is scrambling to figure out what to do with all that has vanished. Voters are baffled, the media is having a field day, and Trump's team is probably wishing they could simply turn the channel. But don't anticipate any drama in the courtroom on this. Kimmel neatly and satirically ties up his charges. It seems as though he has a get-out-of-lawsuit-free pass. As long as he ends his statement with a joke, he is free to say almost anything. What does this mean for Trump now? He's used to enduring storms after all. He resembles a political cockroach in that he will not go away, no matter how hard you attempt to kill him. However, this time, it has a distinct feel. These days it goes beyond simple wins and losses. The question is whether he can maintain his composure long enough to cross the finish line. The biggest irony of it all is that, although Kimmel may have initially only intended to make people chuckle, he has now raised some very important issues. Can Trump hold public office? Is he able to take the heat? Above all, what the devil is going through in that guy's head? Folks, keep in mind that Kimmel is no stranger to jabbing the Trump bear. Our late-night comedian has actually been making fun of the Donald for a longer time than most of us can recall. He appears to possess a doctorate in Trump-related fields. Do you recall when Kimmel was all about ridiculing YouTube videos and pulling practical jokes on famous people? Those were less complicated days. However, after Trump was elected, Kimmel's program abruptly changed to become Roast a President 101. For late-night hosts, Trump seems to be the gift that keeps on coming. The thing is, though, that Kimmel isn't just hurling jests at the wall and hoping one sticks. He has a lengthy history of offering humorous political analysis. He's like the Gordon Ramsay of political roasts, dishing out one-liners that make you both laugh and ponder. Consider the recent drug charge against Trump. This isn't a one-time joke. It's all a part of Kimmel's act. For years, he has been criticizing everything about Trump, including his hair, little hands, and, well, everything. Similar to Trump's personal punching bag, only this one tweets back. But in this game, Kimmel is not alone himself. These late-night presenters are all circling the political sheep like a pack of comedic wolves. Myers, Colbert, and Noah are all aware of it, and individuals devour it. They seem to be receiving their news along with a side order of laughs. They provide more than simply amusement. The topic of conversation is shifting. It's more than simply a jest when he makes comments about Trump taking medication before a debate. It's sowing a thought seed in people's brains. It raises questions, doesn't it? When you think about it, it's absurd. One of the guys who used to host The Man Show is now shaping political conversation. It would be like though your class clown were suddenly delivering foreign policy-focused TED Talks. The worst part is that people actually believe these comics. They resemble the friend who never sugarcoats anything and always tells it like it is. People pay attention when Kimmel talks about Trump and chuckle. After then, they begin to inquire. Thus, Kimmel's most recent Trump satire, it's more than a jest. It is a component of a larger scheme. One punchline at a time, he's been painting this picture for years. And it's true that the man knows how to make politics interesting, whether you love him or detest him.